Hi everyone, welcome to the dynamic season of Aries, spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. The change is in the air and you can feel it. You can feel it in the atmosphere, you can feel it in the society, you can feel it in the news, you can feel it in the events that are happening in your life, that there is a big change coming ahead. And that is not just because of the physical change of the season, it is because of an enormous amount of energy that is coming together because of Saturn, Pluto coming in close contact with each other during the month of April, forming the first trigger of the change in the very fabric and framework of our life. Saturn and Pluto coming together with South Node for the first time ever in our lifetime in April, and for the first time since 15th century, mark a complete change of scene, a complete change of infrastructure, a complete change of framework under which we operate. And we'll see that pan out over the next couple of months, all the way to 12th of January 2020, when the final conjunction of Saturn and Pluto happens and a new regime begins, a new 34-year cycle of Saturn and Pluto together, which marks a completely different framework, a completely new administration, completely new rule book by which we run our life, will initiate from 12th of January 2020. And the first trigger of that will happen in April, where we are setting something in stone by leaving something behind. We are purging an old structure. We are deciding to move on a path which is different from what we have done before. And for that, we are burning the old structure down. We are burning the old infrastructure down. We are bringing the old fear, the old structure, the old thought process, the very old conditioning that has framed the life that we live by right now, has to be let go when Saturn, Pluto and South Node come together. This is a very, very potent conjunction. It is not exact, but Saturn and South Node are coming together at the end of the month on 29th of April. Pluto and South Node are coming together on 5th of April. These are trigger dates of karma being burnt off, the old life being let go, and a new life begins, which is what happens in the season of Aries. New life begins. We start something in a very, very raw form, which is free from inhibition, which is free from fears, which is free from what the world has been telling us who we can become. This is a very, very potent month, and it is the month to take initiative. It is the month where we have to physically take action, take a step that we have not done before so far, because Aries is the season of initiative. It is a season of purity. It is a season of putting yourself first, your goals, your ambition, your interest first, as compared to what the world is telling you. And you're being asked to sort of reduce the social influences to some extent on your path at this point in time, so you can chart something which is unique to you. Because where Aries is in our chart, we are asked to pioneer something. We are asked to do something first, because Aries is the first sign. It is the infant of the zodiac. It is the first sign which does something in its purest form. It initiates something which comes out of the pure divinity that is embedded in our psyche, which we were gifted with. And we are asked to reduce the noise external to us and just listen to our own path and follow that without overthinking it, without going into the details of it to some extent. And I know that is something that is criticized a lot, because Aries is the season where we take impulses, where we take actions which are not engaged with overthinking, because sometimes you have to take those actions to just cut off the old life and start something new, and start things without losing your energy to the people around you. The physical act of starting something new must be done in the month of April, especially around 5th of April. It is a month when we must act on an opportunity, and the last 6 months of turmoil have to be left behind, have to be closed on. Now we have a blank slate full of energy, full of opportunities, and quick actions will need to be taken to seize that opportunity, because this new moon, which is happening on 5th of April, is happening at 15 degree Aries. This is a degree where we find ourselves in rapidly changing circumstances. You'll have to take certain actions. You'll have to reorient yourself very, very fast. You'll have to take certain calculated risks in a very short period of time, as well as you'll have to persuade others about your plans. You'll have to persuade others that your actions justify the means. You are expected to lead here. It's not about trying to be a team player. It's about making others believe in a world that they haven't seen before. You need to make an example of things. You need to make exemplary performance right now. It will require you to have a quick thinking of completely different type and combine different factors together. There's speed required, there's precision required, there's action required, there's leadership required in this new start, where we are asked to take ownership of our own life versus leaving the reins to somebody else, whether it is a corporation, whether it is an administration, whether it is an authority in our life, whether it is our boss. We are asked to leave that authority behind and take an action which is right for us, which suits us, which is a road to success here, where we have to act without wasting time or caring too much about how it looks to everybody else or to the peanut gallery. There is no mourning, there is no getting angry about things, there is no regretting the past, there is no self-sorry in the Aries season, there is no challenge too big during Aries season. Don't do what others have done during this season, because where Aries is in our chart, we have to pioneer that area. We have to do something that the others haven't done. You have to find your first where Aries is. I'll speak about each sign where Aries is in your chart and where I think we should look at initiating something new around this new moon, which is happening on 5th of April, which is very, very dynamic. It is in its purest form. It is unaspected. Unaspected new moon is free of external influences. It is originated by your free will. It is initiated by you leaving the fear of the society and the structure behind. It is raw you. And your rawness, your wholeness, your confidence, there's an awareness of self-identity that comes through with an Aries new moon. It tells us who we are in reality. It tells us what path we are supposed to take. It is an awakening, a sense of purpose, a sense of self-realization of the reality coming to surface, and the sham going away, and the show going away, and the light switched off, and the light is purely ignited within ourselves, where we know what we are supposed to do. And this is not about us going on a mountain and thinking about it, though there's nothing wrong in that, but we are behind all of that. This is the time to act. When Sun is in Aries, we are full of vitality, we are full of energy to move forward. And I'm sorry I didn't say that before, but happy birthday to my fellow Aries. And I can assure you this is a very, very dynamic month to have your birthday in. This new moon is coming with a very beautiful fixed star called Alpha-Reds. Alpha-Reds is a star which is known for freedom. It is known for independence. It is in chart of people who have fought independence, not just for themselves, but for the society. They have done something which leads to freedom for a larger set of people, because once something has been done for the first time, the others can do it as well. So Henry the VIII had this in his chart. So freedom from the laws of Catholic Church was sort of attained as a part of that. John Glenn, the first US astronaut to orbit the Earth, who left the gravity behind. Imagine leaving the gravity behind as being South Node in Capricorn. We are leaving the old structure, the gravity, the string that was holding us back on the ground behind, cutting that cord and moving in a direction that we were not told from our upbringing, from our education, from the administration we work in, that's the right path to take. But we are taking it because we think that is the right path to take. More importantly, the fixed star of Alpha-Reds is out of its own skin. It is not sitting in a constellation where it feels at home. And I am telling you right now, you will feel out of place. The place you are in right now, you will realize that it does not show who you are. It will show that you are different from the person you're currently, the place you're currently living in, the people you're currently dealing with, the home that you're living in, the place you were born in. This is a star which feels out of place from its old place of living. It does not show the place where you are right now. It does not show who you are. And it's the time to show who you are. It's the time for freedom. It is a time for ambition you seek. It is a season to want to belong to something else from where you were previously. It's a totally unexpected new moon. It's pure instinct. It's pure internal drive to do something that is uncharted. It can be a lonely start. You might be it. Even physically, you might feel you're isolated, you're alone. But it is something that you have to do alone. Because in Aries season, we have to start something on our own pure instinct without external influences. Remember this month and the transit all the way to 2020 of South Node, Pluto and Saturn together. You have to separate yourself from the crowd. You have to separate yourself from the peanut gallery who doubts you. You have to separate yourself from the external influences who might be well-meaning right now, but more important thing right now to be successful is self-reliance. More important thing right now is the soul's experience of self-reliance and self-containment. More you are dependent on others, the more the South Node Pluto Saturn conjunction will cause you disruption, unfortunately. And I have to say it because South Node is about detachment. It's about detaching from a structure who we have come to rely and relax in. It wants you to leave the nest. It wants you to leave the old structure. It wants you to find freedom when we are not dependent on somebody else who has been giving us shelter, who's been given us safety, who's been given us some sort of protection. And in the process of that, we've been hiding our talents below the surface. It is giving another person responsibility for your happiness, which is not allowed in this season and in this aspect. Giving another person the responsibility to make you whole is not accepted. When South Node, Pluto, Saturn come together, you are taught the harsh lesson of self-reliance. Depending on another, even for ideas of your life path, is something which is taken away to some extent. Because you need to rely on your original ideas right now. You have to not hide behind a predefined path right now. You have to head something which is different where Aries is in your chart. This is about being a natural leader of your own talents. There's no spotlight here. In Aries, it's not about spotlight. It's about pioneering. It's about doing something which we haven't done before in our life because we were too afraid to do it, because the society pressure did not let us do it, because the doubts did not let us do that. And we find wholeness and confidence when we follow our own path. There is an awareness which comes from within ourselves. And Aries dare the fate. It's not about depending on fate. It's very hopeful in who it wants it to be. It believes in that vision. It believes and desires that vision so much that it puts everything it has into it. Everything and the whole universe conspires together to support that vision because you believe in that. It's about creating your own reality and not relying on somebody else's dream to become your reality. It's about creating a reality which is solely yours, and you want to do it because you said it so. In Aries, it's about doing something because you said it so. Aries dares the fate. It wants to define its own fate. Wherever Aries is in your chart, and we all have Aries in our chart, and Aries is there in the North Node of every big empire in the world. Every large administration, every large country has got Aries, Capricorn and Cancer. The cardinal energy is very, very strong in the global events right now. We see it in United States. We see it in United Kingdom. We see it in Germany, France, India. All of these countries, they have dominating cardinal energy, and we all have it in our chart. And that is what we need to evoke. We need to wake up from, because where cardinal energy is in our chart, we cannot stick to the old anymore. We have to reinvent ourselves in that area. Where Capricorn is in our chart, things are working so heavily right now with Saturn, Pluto and South Node together. We have to reinvent where Capricorn is in our chart. Capricorns are completely empowering themselves from the old regime. And the administrations who have Capricorn and Cancer dominant in their chart, United Kingdom, United States, they will reinvent their whole way of being. And we'll see that in our personal life. We'll see that energy, that empowerment come through wherever Aries, Capricorn, or any of the cardinal energies are there. And I'll speak about it by sign at the end of the video. But I wanted to emphasize that we have to take a step. And as long as this new moon is unaspected, or when it's happening on 5th of April, so 5th, 6th, 7th, around 6th or 7th is a good day to start something new, to physically, and we have to physically take a step at this point in time. But what will happen is that you will start finding the aspects to this come about, and the external influences will start coming around 10th of April. Because Saturn will aspect, it will be the first one. Saturn is the first one to challenge this new start. So as soon as you start doing something that is away from the norm, the old comes, the rules come, the administration comes, the corporation comes, the old rules come, and they check you. Around 10th of April, we are tested on how solid is our path, how solid is our conviction, how solid are we in terms of the direction in which we are going, and how sure are we of ourselves at this point in time. So we'll be tested on 10th of April with Saturn challenging you. Then Pluto will be challenging you on 13th of April. But these are the challenges where we become stronger in our conviction, because Pluto makes us rediscover our power. Saturn lets us rediscover the structure by which we have to work in this new start. It ultimately, both of these planets are here to give you support. Because you cannot have power in your new start without Pluto, and Saturn, without that you don't have the discipline to pursue it forward. So these two Aries is important to start something, to get out of our inertia, get out of this feeling sorry for yourself that we haven't been able to do what we really wanted to do, or just not moving forward because there have been blockages because of external circumstances, and we forget the power was always within us to start something new. That is awakened with Aries, and then we encounter Saturn and Pluto to create the structure and have the power and the persistence to carry this through to the end. And that will happen around 10th and 13th of the April. And then Jupiter is going retrograde around 10th of April. But Jupiter retrograde becomes aware to us around 14th of April. What happens on 14th of April or around that, in my view, is that something comes through because of your own initiative. You get the support. You sort of meet the challenge of Saturn. You meet the challenge of Pluto. You move forward. Something new comes through. And in a new opportunity, a new breakthrough comes through. But when Jupiter goes retrograde, the external circumstances cool down. The external support to some extent also cools down. The external influence cools down. And there's a realization which happens around 14th that more time is required for this new idea, this new project, this new career, this new relationship to evolve, for it to become what you want it to become. And the key over here is to not lose the momentum, because when external influences die off, it doesn't mean that the progress stops. What it means is that we are asked to now rely on our own direction. You're required to grow in the right direction using your own rules, using your own imperatives. The external support after 14th of April, to some extent, will not be the driving force. You will be the driving force after 14th. There will be things that will come in your support after the new moon of 4th or 5th of April. You will get external support. You will see suddenly the enthusiasm and the support from other people, because when we believe in our vision, as I said, the whole universe comes together to support us. But what will happen after 14th of April is that for the next couple of months, all the way till 11th of August, when Jupiter goes direct, that will be the time to reframe this opportunity, to grow it in the right way, to actually add the bells and the whistles and the prosperity to it, to make it your own. It is a period of removal of your ideas from social influence and to some extent mundane experience to enrich it. It is supposed to become not what the society accepts it, not how it looks to the society. It has to become something that you can take solace in, that you created something that is reasonably yours, that is within the reason that you wanted to create, that it's based on the moral code that you live by, that it's based on what is right for you, for your health, for your physical balance, for your integral balance, for your enrichment, for your growth. Are we giving something away here by making others happy? That is the check. When Jupiter goes retrograde, the external people stop coming into picture and you are asked to take on your own responsibility and initiative to grow this. So for some people, it might feel stagnation. If you are too dependent on an external support system, it might feel a little bit stagnant. But it happens every year. What is important this year, Jupiter goes retrograde every year. For 4 or 5 months, it goes retrograde every year. Around the same time, April to August, it goes retrograde. But what is different this year is that Jupiter is sitting in its own sign. So we are sort of waiting for it to bless us. And when Jupiter in Sagittarius, where it manifests the most, it's like a superpower we have this year, and it goes retrograde, the external blessing is paused because we are asked to find if we are doing it for the right reasons. Is this what you want to do, which will make you happy for a longer term in your life? That is the question when Jupiter goes retrograde, we are asked. And it is not like till August things stop or anything, because Jupiter opposition to Sun happens around June when things will start turning. But from April to June especially, this whole figuring out what all needs to be done to grow this opportunity to the level you want it to become, that trend will begin from April to June. Now let's talk about the big conjunction, the Saturn, Pluto and South Node. Saturn and Pluto South Node, they align with each other every 34 to 38 years. And whenever they meet, there is a reorganization of power. There's a test of authority. Who is the boss? Who controls the most resources? Who has the most power? That question arises at a global level. And it happens every 34 to 38 years. Last cycle initiated in 1982, and that cycle is coming to a closure. Now, all the way till 12th of January 2020, we'll see a closure of an old regime, a closure of an old power structure. The power structure, the large corporation, the business monopolies that we have seen over the course of last couple of years, they will come under question. Who controls them? What is the control of the countries? What are the borders, the maps? They will come under question. And with the new regime coming into place in 2020, especially the trigger point being 12th of January 2020, we'll see a complete change of power, a complete way of use of power, a responsible use of power, a dismantling of long-standing administrative structures that we thought are the very fabric of the society we live in, the system of belief, the society structures which are long lasting and old, they will feel like they're going away. There'll be a dismantling of the old structure, so a more authentic, a more powerful, a more authentic structure can come in our life as well as in the society. But before that happens, there is a dismantling that has to happen, and that is what happens with South Node, Saturn, Pluto coming together starting from April, and they will be in close contact with each other for the next 3 months. More importantly, Saturn and South Node will have multiple trigger points in the next couple of months. We'll see a trigger point come about on 30th of April when Saturn and South Node meet for the first time. Then on 4th of July when they meet again. During the eclipse season in July, when this conjunction forms a critical part of the eclipses that are happening in July, which will impact many of the large countries, especially United States. And then we have conjunction happening on 28th of September again. So these are trigger points when there is a purge which happens of the old structure. Pluto wants to deconstruct the old structure to lead us to our true identity. Pluto shows up when our soul wants to evolve to the next level of growth, but we face limitations that we need to confront. that we need to get rid of, certain emotional patterns, behavior, external power issues that are disempowering us. Who and what are you giving your power away to? That needs overcoming. Evolution of soul and purge of circumstances that don't contribute to your growth and are holding you down, that needs to happen during the course of April and May, and that realization is the first step that will happen in April. The first phase is met with emotions, because you unlock the things that you do not want to face, that have not come in front of us in the past, and the past comes for reckoning. Secrets come out. We are already seeing that because Pluto South Node came in starting from middle of last month itself. I spoke about it in the March videos as well. Pluto and South Node coming together from middle of March all the way to early May is about us looking at the underbelly of things, underbelly of the society, things that we accept are okay but are truly dysfunctional, that we start accepting as the part of our daily life, things that we start living by, saying this is okay, this is my way of life, this is how I should be treated by the authority figures, this is how I should be treated by the bosses, this is what I deserve. Those kind of things, they start coming out. Our soul is dug deeper into, so the dysfunction and the lack of power, where we are giving our power away, starts coming out into the open. The impetus is to discard and give away and flush what is old, what is outdated, what's clutter in your path, which is obscuring your power, which is giving your ability to achieve your highest ideals, dreams and inspiration away to somebody else. What and who are you giving your power away to is a key question that comes to forefront, and you cannot ignore it when Pluto and Ketu come together, especially in the sign of Capricorn, which is a sign of power. The first phase, as I said, will be information and emotions, because you are unlocking something that you have not unlocked before. And Pluto works by getting to the core of things. We are seeing that secrets coming out, educational scandal, corporate scandals, FAA and Boeing's nexus coming out, Neverland, underlying this, racism coming through, secret financial transactions coming through, underbelly of the society, the things that we think is okay, that a few should control the resources. There's abuse of power. There is control and dominance over the resources by a few, which is accepted as normal in our society, and how the administration, the powerful, the rich, the famous and the industrials are using their resources, which is accepted well and ingrained deep in our society. The abuse that is ingrained deep in our society, which is accepted as norm, that starts coming out and hurting us. It starts showing up in a way that is jarring in nature, and that happens in our personal life as well. Their disclosure, their exposures, how we using our resources, how we misusing our own power to some extent. Because when God or higher power gives us some gifts and we don't use that for the benefit of everybody, or we do not utilize them by working on those talents, that is an abuse of power too. That's an abuse of resource. So this powerlessness will get emphasized so you can outgrow it. The behavioral pattern that is stopping you to move to the next level will get highlighted, especially if you're a cardinal sign and you have planets between 20 to 24 degree, you'll feel it very, very strongly. 20 to 24 degrees is largely around 10th to 15th of the month. For the cardinal sign, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, they'll feel it the most. But all of us, wherever Capricorn is in our chart, we'll feel this need to evolve to the next level in our life, because our soul is ready. We need to outgrow the old structure, the old rules that are following, the security. It questions, it opposes Cancer. Cancer is security, our home. The things that we think we go to when we want to feel safe. It says it's no longer okay to feel safe. It's no longer okay to accept dominance by somebody else. Who are we giving up our way to? That will not work anymore. And don't waste your time in power struggles, because when this happens at such a larger scale, power struggles come. Twitter becomes overactive. People speaking stuff that they do not truly believe in. There's a lot of lies that come out. And people will get mad. Isolate yourself from the peanut gallery, as I said before. There are things that will suck your energy which are not required, which are not good for you. And in Aries season, we do what is right by us. Do do what is right by you. And if that means you have to isolate yourself from the media, you have to isolate yourself from Twitter, Facebook, news for some time to focus on what to do, which is right by your life, do that. Ketu is about using our power in an elevated manner, which requires you to detach yourself from the negativity. Detach yourself from the negative news and the despair that is coming out. You have to create healing and nourishment for your own life. And the development of these qualities that make you uniquely powerful, that do not exist in others, that needs to be focused on developing without fear, without the thought process of lack, without the thought process that you won't be supported, without the thought process that the limiting beliefs, the personal beliefs, the need for security we want to fall back on, that is taken off. Unfortunately, if you'll try to hold on too tight, it will be an unpleasant aspect. I'm sorry to say, but I have to tell you what the reality is. This is an aspect where we feel a loss of something, a loss of security, a loss of what is familiar, what is home to us. Because we have to attempt to develop again. We have to attempt to create a new reality. We will never be satisfied by working in the old creation after this. Because if there is a dissolution in our mind which happens before the external dissolution happens, by which the old structure becomes dysfunctional and redundant to us. So when in your mind something is redundant and valueless, how do you forge forward with a powerful tomorrow with it? So that is a part of Pluto and South Node. Then we have Saturn and South Node showing itself up around 29th or 30th of the month. And Saturn and South Node will actually be together for a much longer period of time. Saturn and South Node, when they come together, South Node always emphasizes the planet more. So Saturn's the tasir, the basic elements of Saturn are exaggerated, which is restrictions. So at the end of the month, after we have gone through this powerful feeling and this expansion and a new opportunity and the start, at the end of the month, either through an authority figure or a leader or somebody who's older than you or authority figure in your personal life or an actual law or legal limitation shows up and highlights you the gap in your vision. It will show up and show you that you have this power, yes, to make your future, but you have to be conscious of certain limitations that you need to overcome, and a patience is required when you do that. So throughout these two, Ketu is moksha. There's a little bit of detachment with the way things will evolve this month that will be required. I know it is contrary to what I say in Aries, but that is the challenge of this month. You have to start something passionately, but let it go in terms of its outcome this month, because the outcome will evolve over the next couple of months. The outcome will improve next couple of months if you're detached from the outcome. You have to detach yourself from it and see the inputs that are coming through the authority figures, through the administration, through the laws, because you'll have to evolve this in the coming months and you'll have to reform the structure because you are creating something for longer term. More importantly, South Node and Saturn coming together has a diffusing effect on our ego. It wants us to let our ego go a little bit because you are seen in line of duty. You are seen in line of duty to do something that is required out of you because you were gifted with it. Taking your role in society to a higher realm, being a true leader requires you to remove not just limiting beliefs, but also to some extent the ego. And these restrictions, they will make a stronger, firmer foundation of anything new you're starting, your new business, your new job, a new career you're going for, or a new project you're going for. Saturn creates new rules, new boundaries, new physical structures that are based on truth that Pluto has revealed at the start of the month. It gives the determination, the ambition, the persistence to structure something for longer term. So the impetus comes from the Aries new moon and the power comes from Pluto, but the discipline comes from Saturn in the end, and there will be things that will be highlighted to you which are not right in your plan right now because you are supposed to evolve it to a final output which comes at the end of these transits around in September. when you finally see that the form of the final outcome is completely different from where you started. And it doesn't mean that the progress will not happen. You will see that these things will evolve during the course of next couple of months. When the Saturn Sun opposition happens on 9th of July, then Sun and Pluto opposition happens on 14th of July, and July is the month when we'll have the 2 eclipses as well. That is the month you'll see the turnaround. You'll see the turnaround in the circumstances and the outcome of the investment you'll be making from April to July. So be ready that end of April, early May, there will be certain not so pleasant but necessary confrontation with reality, with truth, with gaps, with fears that you'll have to face. And they could come from authority figures, they could come from regulation, they could come from authority figures in your own personal life or the limitations that exist in our personal life. So we can dissolve and move forward with them. We can make our role evolve, our role in society, our contribution in society evolve to a much stronger and firmer ground. And then after Saturn goes retrograde end of April, we go inward away from social influences to incorporate and figure out how to handle those gaps, how to figure out and include them and create a firmer foundation of what we are doing, which is a theme of Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter going retrograde by end of April. So being cognizant of that, taking it as we come, more important and the best thing to do when Saturn and South Node show up, and there will be things that will show up, weakness in our structure, is to release control a little bit, because Ketu dissolves and it wants to dissolve our ego. It does not want us to give our power away, but there is a way to be powerful without the ego struggles, and that is what it's teaching us. So when we sort of shoot back at somebody, when they highlight a gap in our plan and we don't like it, that's normally ego. So it will highlight to us where we are trying to hold the flow of things too much. We're trying to control the flow of prosperity too much, which we need to let go, which we need to release. We need to accept certain limitations that are there in our gap, that are gaps in our performance. There are things that will happen beyond our circumstances that we need to take into consideration. We'll have to let go the control and work on those gaps. It is like acupuncture, right? Sometimes the free flow of the energy through our body is blocked in certain sectors of our body because we are trying to control that area of our life too much. An organ in our body, whether it is the reproductive system or any other part of our body that we're trying to constrain too much and control too much, is where the acupuncture needle is put to release pressure. So imagine this letting go of fear, letting go of too much control in an area of our life, so we can let certain things evolve to the final form, which is stronger, more firmer in nature, and they serve us better in longer run. That will be the theme going forward all the way till July. So this is the larger themes which are playing around the Aries new moon, as well as the Saturn Pluto conjunction and the 3 retrogrades that are coming about in the month of April. As I said, it's astrologically heavy, but we are kick-starting a completely new cycle of our life. Now let's go into each sign and see where we need to initiate something, where we need to let go some sort of hindrance, some kind of fear, some kind of old structure of our life, and where the opportunity will evolve over the next couple of months. Where is our Jupiter? So let's dig into that by sign. Before we go into sign, I just wanted to leave a quick note that this exact degree where the new moon is happening on 5th of April, we had an eclipse in October 2014. October 2014, we had a lunar eclipse with South Node here. So if you remember, or you could look back between October to December of 2014, what we had to close or let go in this area of our life, there will be something new seen in the same area of your life. This is the easiest way to figure out. So looking back between October of 2014, specifically what was closed, given off or cut off from your life around October to December 2014, or some kind of loss that you might have faced around that time. For example, in the chart of United Kingdom, this happened on its North Node. So this was the time when UKIP, the Eurosceptic party essentially, which seeded the idea of Brexit, Nigel Farage, at that time the leader of the party, that was the point where the rise of that party and the whole planting the idea of Brexit happened. And we are seeing that there is a new wave in that coming about, which might lead to a new form of Brexit happening in April as a result of that. And the 5th of April new moon is happening on the North Node of United Kingdom, which was an indicator of Brexit happening, something new initiating in the way they relate to their partners. So a new treaty coming about, a new contract coming about with their partners. And their North Node is very closely connected with France's North Node as well as Germany's North Node. These are the countries whose destiny is tied together, whether they're part of a union or not, but their economic destiny is very much tied together. So we'll see that impacting Germany and France as well, especially in the matter of their European Union elections. And there are about 20 elections which are happening while Pluto, Saturn and South Node are combining together in the sign of leadership of Capricorn. So we'll see a lot of political changes come about in the next coming months, but specifically in April, you should look back to October of 2014 to look at what happened at the time. So now let's dig into each sign, starting with the king and the queens of this month, Aries. Aries, this is your month. This is the month when the new moon is the true significator of a new start for you. It's happening at 15 degree of Aries. So if you have planets around 15 degree of Aries, or if you are an Aries sun born around 5th of April, this is a brand new start for you. But for all of us, this will infuse fresh energy into our physical being to start with. We will have the vitality to make something new happen. More importantly, we'll look at our whole life with a new lens. There is a letting go of fear of restriction in the area of our career, which is happening right now. The restraints, that the fear that was holding us back from truly being powerful in our career, is being released as a result of Pluto South Node conjunction just before the new moon, which helps us take the leap of faith on 5th or 6th of April of this month. And happy birthday again to my Aries sun. If you are specifically Aries sun, this is high focus on your career. There's some major milestone of your career which is coming about with this Aries new moon and the Pluto South Node and Saturn conjunction. Apart from 15 degree of Aries, if you have planets between 20 to 25 degrees of Aries as well, which means you're born between 10th to 15th of April or around 5th of April. That's why I said this will impact all of you, because Pluto, South Node and Saturn will continue to act between 20 to 25 degree. In fact, Saturn will go back as long as 13 degrees. So most of the April born will feel it very, very strongly. Pluto and Saturn are empowering you to take a very, very firm and powerful step. But at the same time, at the end of the month, around end of April, you'll feel the pressure. You'll feel the pressure, somebody from the authority figure or a leadership or the corporate that you're part of or your sponsor, somebody will point out issues in what you're doing, or there might be some gaps in the structure that you're planning to pursue that will be revealed to you, which you'll have to handle in the coming months. But there's a breakthrough that happens with the new moon that is happening around 5th of this month, and you'll see some positive support come through from Jupiter. Jupiter is in your house of international connections, so either through some powerful mentor who's different from you, or a foreign partner, or a person who's different from you, a person in a different country from you, or a sponsor in a different country from you, will show you certain positive signs of support. But in order to grow this adventure to the full degree, you will have to work on something over the next 3 or 4 months without the support from external sources. With your own impetus, you'll have to grow this new start. You'll have to grow this new start to the next level with a much firmer grounding. So have patience, leave the control on the outcome, Enjoy the fact that you're being given the opportunity to initiate something that is in line with your dreams, which is in line with your vision. And that is exactly what you'll do. Take a physical step around 6th or 7th of this month to start something new, which is very, very core to you, which is devoid of how it looks to the society, how it feels to the society, how important it is to other people, but it is core and important to you. It is essential to your soul. It is essential to your soul's growth to the next level. So it's not about how it looks to the public. It is not about how successful is this success to the external people. This is about you doing what you in your heart believe is the right path for you and pursuing that with everything you've got, and then things will come together to support it. Taking a logical first step of your own initiative is what is key around 6th or 7th of this month. If you're an Aries rising or Aries ascendant sign, this is a time when you might also look at how you present yourself. So the leadership style you have, there is a new fresh infusion of power in the way you manage a team, in the way you run a company, in the way you run a business, the direction in which you take a business, the physical appearance, the very dress we wear, the skin we wear, the physical appearance of how we come across to other people, that undergoes a revamp as a part of this new moon. And we'll be having Venus and Mercury enter your sign as well from 17th or 20th of this month, which will give you the energy both in your mind and in your heart to pursue something which is more core to you. You will feel like making changes physically. You'll be voicing your concerns more. You will be speaking out about your vision more, especially after 16th or 17th of this month. So this is an important time. Be ready that after April, because Jupiter will be going retrograde, the external source from this foreign counterpart or from your mentor might cease for some time. It might feel that the support is not coming because they have opened a door for you, but opening the whole lot is now dependent on you. Growing this opportunity that is being shown to you as a part of the new moon is your impetus. It will be your impetus. It will be your own initiative. You'll be reworking something, creating the right structure, the right framework, the right grounding of it, essentially. So happy birthday again to Aries Sun. If you're Aries Moon, I like you to, and even for Aries Sun and Ascendant to some extent, taking care of your health is very, very essential. What you ingest, especially if you're an Aries moon, being careful about what you're eating this month, because Rahu causes a lot of, when Rahu comes with Pluto, it is like a purge. So we are very, very sensitive in our body at this point in time. So being careful in terms of what we ingest is very important. Being careful of any viral or bacterial infection would be very important, especially if you're an Aries moon, and especially if you're an Aries moon with any planets around 20-25 degree. If you have moon around 20 to 25 degree, being a little bit careful. Overall, when Ketu comes into play, we need to be a little bit careful in terms of ingesting something which is more sattvic in nature, as it's called. Sattvic meaning it's not overcooked. It is not overdone. Consuming things in their natural form, even in unprocessed form, but being careful that we are not taking in bacteria by mistake in that. And we can see that Pluto and South Node coming together, the outbreak of measles is one of the outcomes of that. The bacterial infections and the viral infections which go viral, as they say, I mean, they're just more rampant at this point in time, and because they're aspecting your sun or moon, health is impacted. So being careful at this point in time of your vitality. Wear red. If you feel a little bit diffused because of Ketu, wear red. Wear red color. Anything that is red for power is good. Or work out, being physically active. And if you're feeling too restless, for peace, wear natural colors, eat natural food. When you feel too restless or you feel discontent or you feel that the external forces are bothering you at this time, do that. But wear red, wear sandalwood, have red sandalwood around you. Red color will sort of, it infuses more Mars in you, which is required. Mars is in a good position, but still, do that if that comes to it. So this is what I have. With Aries moon, there's a possibility of relocation that comes into play. There's a possibility of a new start in your personal life, like having a pregnancy or a new giving birth to something new in your personal life might also come about, or a new chapter in your personal life might also begin if you're a Aries moon. Moving on to Taurus. Beautiful Taurus. This Aries new moon is happening in your 12th house. We are in a phase when your season has not yet started. You're getting ready for that. In that area, in that phase when you're getting ready for your season and you're working behind the scene, but you're working quite actively because Mars is in your sign. So you're quite activated physically. But at this point in time, Aries new moon comes and asks you to take care of yourself. There's a self-care routine which needs to be put in place for you to be able to take the Uranus and Taurus phase that is coming for you. I spoke about it in the last month video as well. Uranus and Taurus does stress our adrenals. It stresses our system. It stresses our digestive system. It stresses our nerves to some extent. So when you have a new moon in your 12th house, it is a moment of escape that is given to us. So about 2 weeks starting from 5th of April, you could take a trip, you could take a yoga retreat, you can do something recreational for yourself. Take an initiative to take care of your own health. Take an initiative which helps you sort of recoup from something that has happened. Try to get ready for a very, very active phase of your life, which is starting from 28th of this month, when you have Uranus and Taurus playing in full role, and you have all the energy and focus on you at that time, with Mars in your sign, with Sun in your sign. From 20th of this month, you'll be full of energy and you'll be powerful and ready to go. So take this time from 5th of April all the way till 19th of April to maybe take some time away from the crowd, de-stress a little bit, release something, put an end to the old phase, even put end to a phase in your life maybe, because when your new moon will happen next month, you'll be looking at starting something new, maybe a new job, a new career, a new project that will be starting next month. So you're sort of putting a bow and ending something, an old phase of your life. And when Uranus enters your sign, anyways, a new chapter has to begin. So this is a time when you want to sort of take a break, take an escape from the worldly duties a little bit, indulge yourself in spirituality, in creativity, get lost to some extent in your own healing. And it's the time for privacy to some extent. But at this time, you have Pluto South Node and Saturn working together for the next couple of months in your 9th house of adventure. You're about to take an adventure. I spoke about it in the last month as well. The goalpost has changed for you. When the goalpost has changed and you're looking at a very different phase of your life that you want to go for, there is a sort of an education which is required for it. There is a new learning that is required for it. There is a new exposure that is required to move to this phase of your life. Now, in order to do that, you might be required to take a course. You might be required to go take a sabbatical. You might be required to move into a job that has a high learning curve. And in order to do that, first in this month, in the month of April, Ketu first releases some belief. When you go inward and you give yourself the privacy and the time to release something, the first thing that you'll be releasing is a fear to take the leap of faith. Because there is a fear to sort of get into something that is different from you. There's a fear to go for this higher education. There's a fear to change this career. There's a fear to travel. There's a fear to go for adventure, because you are a fixed sign. You like to create value out of what is there existing. Capricorn is also a earth sign like yours. It believes in creating value or something of substance in this life, but it believes in taking a step. It believes in initiating new, and you will be asked and prompted to initiate something new in your season, which will be different from what you have done before, which will be different from the belief system that you have had before. So this Pluto South Node conjunction, which is happening around 5th of the month, and then Saturn South Node conjunction, which is happening at the end of the month, it has to release a belief system or what you've been taught by your parents, your father especially, or through the mentors in your life or your old education, whatever it has taught you. You have to release that and take a new course, go for something different, go for something which is more forward looking in your life. This is about forward karma. This is about looking forward in life. This is about studying forward. This is about international business opportunity. This is about travel, adventure, learning, going for a new course, going for a new modern course which enriches who you are as a person. But before you go for all of that, you first have to release a belief, a blockage, which happens either through a discussion or a fated interaction with somebody who's your mentor, something coming from the past, or somebody from the past coming into your current existence who gives you this messaging. And Jupiter in the 8th house helps you go through this transformation more easily, and you will be required to transform yourself moving forward. So that's for Taurus. Moving on to Gemini. Gemini, this new moon, Aries new moon, is happening in your 11th house of inspiration. There's a fresh set of inspiration which is infused into your dreams. You get a new vision of your life. You get a new look into your future, and that comes through by you releasing some sort of fear of failure, because you have Saturn, Pluto and South Node sitting in your house of transformation. There's a fear to let go, a fear of loss, a fear of not being able to leave an old life behind that sits in your psyche, which gets released here. There's a fear of this is a notional loss. This is not a real loss. It's not a real loss. It's just that sometimes we get addicted to a certain type of life, and that certain type of life, which is an addiction of sort, is being cut from your life, and this is negative for you. It has been draining you. This is a kind of lifestyle that has been draining you. It could be an actual substance use that has been draining you. It could be a thing that you ingest, a thing that you take, a thing that you indulge in, or a thought process that you indulge in, or a company that you indulge in that has been draining you and not letting you move forward. And you release that with Pluto and South Node sitting together in your house of addiction, in your house of old, in your house of loss, in your house of not being able to transform yourself from the past because we are holding on too tight. So something is cut from the cord. There's a cord cut that happens at the start of the month, and you feel the release, and that release gets infused into your house of hopes and dreams, and you go out and start something new. On 6th or 7th of this month, you should make a milestone. You should make a physical move to start a new business, to make a new investment. This is monetary in nature. 11th house is about big wealth. It's about big wealth. It's about social standing. It's about being able to connect with larger set of people, interact with a larger set of people, a social network that you did not know existed and could support you. A business network that you did not know that exists and can support you is discovered. And you take the first step to be part of that high society, to be part of this so-called high net worth people. You make your first step into that. You make that first step into that millionaire club or the billionaire club or the high society or whatever is important to you. The vision of our life is unique to each person. So the vision of your life that is core to you, that you feel will inspire you to move forward, here you are asked to take a step of bravery into social standing. This is not about hiding behind anymore. This is about being very, very visible. 11th house is very visible. It's not visible to 1 or 2 person. It is visible to the world. So it's worldwide network, for example, putting something on the internet, putting something out in a social launch of sorts is done with this. Writing a piece and publishing to a larger set of audience is done with this. Reaching out to people through electronic means is done with this. Reaching out to a set of people who you can jointly connect with and create value from is done here. So take a step in reaching out. What needs to be released and cut off from your life is the 8th house matter, which is your fear of moving ahead from the past, the fear that you will not be prosperous, the fear that financial resources will not find you, the fear that you are, the feeling of lack has to be let go. And that is where Saturn, Pluto and South Node are sitting together, and they're asking you to release. They're asking you to let go. And what supports you is 7th house. 7th house is Sagittarius here, right? So abundance in your contract. So there might be some sort of support that comes through from your partner, from either your marriage partner or from your business partner or from a client or from a prospective client. So there's a support that comes through to you, And that support gives you an opening. It gives you an idea. It gives you a new start. It gives you support that lets you propel forward. And that will happen around 14th of the month. And then you move forward with that. But the first seed, the vision is yours. It's yours and yours alone. You decide that you want to do something and then you work towards it. And then the rest of the partners and the client, they give you the support for it. The external support, though, will cease after April. You will be left to your own devices to handle this new opportunity that you're originating going forward. So be aware of that. But cut something out of your life, and Pluto and South Node are together. It's truly a purge for you. It's truly a detox for you of a substance, of a person, of an environment that is not serving you well. Cut that off from your life. This is a clear-cut break from there. And this is happening around 15 degrees. So if you have planets around 15 degree of Gemini, you will have an easier access to this support. So that's for you, Gemini. Moving over to Cancer. Cancer, you're a cardinal sign. This all directly impacts you. Both the Aries new moon as well as the Pluto South Node and Saturn conjunction is very much directly related to you. And if you're born especially around 7th of July, this is happening on your sun. If you're a Cancer sun or if you're a Cancer ascendant around 15 degree of Cancer, you will feel the new start very, very strongly. It is happening in your house of career. So there is a new phase in your career that is starting with this Aries new moon, especially if you have planets around 15 degree of Cancer, or if you're born around 7th of July. This is a complete new public image phase starting from you. But for all of you, this is a new phase, a new fresh energy is infused into your career, into your leadership style, into the way that you present yourself to the larger audience. There's a new energy to your public image that is added here. A new impetus is added. And that happens because of you restructuring the way you relate to other people. And I spoke about it in the last month video as well. Pluto, South Node and Saturn are coming together in your house of partnership. The way you relate with your partners, the way you present yourself to your clients, the way you connect with other people, that is changing significantly. And because of that, you get propelled forward in a very significant manner. This is a very, very positively aspected, very positive new moon. And hence it infuses a very positive energy into your career sector. But it comes at a cost of you releasing certain fears about the way you want to relate with people, even the way we speak to other people. There's a fear, there's an inhibition in us merging with other people, and that fear is let go. That fear is released. And as that fear is released, you move forward with a much higher speed. What supports you is that Jupiter in 6th house, you are sort of setting up the right rules of the game. You're able to set up the right processes required for this job, and there's some project that probably supports your co-worker or your team supports you. There's a support system that comes from your day-to-day work life that helps you move to this next phase in your career. People you manage could support you. A co-worker could bring an opportunity to you. These are the things and the people who will support you. Your work environment support you. This support comes, but first is your initiative. You take the initiative to start something new in your career, and then that support comes from the other sources. But again, this is a source of support that stops coming after April, and you're left to your own devices to take this forward. So being self-reliant, don't remember that whichever way you relate to other people, you have to stay independent in this approach. You might be forming a new partnership with somebody, you might be renegotiating a contract with somebody, you might be forming a new leadership style of yours, but being dependent on people will not serve you well. Self-reliance is very, very important in this new start. You have to be not dependent on somebody else's help at this point in time. Though if you seek, the support will come from your team, the work environment will be positive, they will continue to support you. So this is for Cancer, and look forward to the new start in your career. Moving on to Leo. Leo, the new moon is happening in your 9th house. This is about taking a leap of faith. This is about starting a new adventure with somebody or someone or a country which is foreign to you. So this could be a foreign contract, a business contract, a business opportunity with somebody who's internationally available to you, like a foreign business partner. It could be you moving into a foreign country. It could be you getting visa or legalization in a country which is different from you. It could be you going for a new education course. This could be you initiating and deciding that I need to learn more in my career, and because of that I need to take a new course, and in order to do that I need to take on this time off from my career and do this. So it could be you taking a new course, it could be you taking a new visa, it could be you interacting with a person who's different from you, going for a foreign contract at this stage. But it's a positive energy for you. This opportunity happens easily if you take initiative. A foreign contract, an international business opportunity, a course essentially that you're taking, a legalization, or even a legal battle comes to a positive conclusion in your favor. And this is the time when you should start something new in this area. Start a new course, start a new learning, start a new contract with a foreign person, start the process of visa, legalization if you need to. Travel at this point in time. It will come to your benefit. And this is a time when Pluto South Node and Saturn are together in your 6th house. So there's some amount of discord in your work environment that is getting released. There is a release of negativity, fear in your work environment that is getting released. Maybe there was a lack of faith earlier in being able to make something happen that gets released. Also, maybe a co-worker could leave at this point in time. There could be a person who works with you who might have to be released, or there might be the way you connect with them, that whole framework changes, the way you connect with your team. 6th house are the people who work for us. So if you're a leader of the team, the way you connect to your team will change. There'll be a restructuring within your team structure. There could be a restructuring of the workplace that you have. You might have to relocate from your workplace essentially at this point in time. And there's a letting go of fear here. A fear of success, a fear of trying to get everything too exactly right, because now you look at the bigger picture. So when we look at something too much into the details, we sometimes lose the big picture. This aspect, the new moon in Aries, gives you the bigger vision of your life. It gives you a bigger vision of where you're giving, and a positive vision here. And with Jupiter blessing your overall positive karma, you get benefit of luck here. There's a benefit of luck that comes. So something that you start around 6th or 7th of this month, it has an element of luck in it. It has an element of positivity in it. A positive karma comes to, and something is given birth to. But after April, you're left to your devices to sort of create the strong foundations of it. You'll have to create the processes of it. You'll have to create the detail of it in the coming months. And with Saturn and South Node there, you might be highlighted some gaps there. You might be highlighted some gaps at the end of the month, or maybe some person who's working for you is not working out to be as efficient as you like to be, or your work environment, there is some gap that is left that needs to be fixed to make it work the way you want to. And then over the next couple of months, you work on that. So this is for you, Leo. Then moving on to Virgo. Virgo, you have a new moon happening in your house of joint resources, a new joint partnership. Maybe you have initiated a new partnership, and now the new financial benefits of that partnership start. So a new joint financial phase starts with somebody, and this is a new process for you. You're taking the initiative to merge with somebody. It could be a business partner, it could be a personal partner. You are deciding to merge at a much deeper level, but you're taking the initiative here, and you're taking the initiative by losing the fear here. You're losing the doubts that you have in your risk-taking capability, because Pluto and South Node removes any doubts you have in your ability to produce, in your ability to give birth to something. So the fear is taken off, and you are asked to take a leap of faith and go merge with somebody, create a life together with somebody at a much deeper level. There is a healing that comes with it. There is a transformation of power that comes to it. You feel very, very energized and powerful with this. And this is a feeling which is foreign to you. This is a feeling, because Virgos are normally understated. You try to deliver more than what you show to the world. Here, you will feel the power physically. You'll feel the power visibly outside, and you will look powerful. You will look powerful over here. You will get support from your home and family here. Your fourth house Jupiter will support you. It will give you the benefit. There's harmony at home, and home and family supports you at this point in time. But going forward, you'll have to work very hard on generating value out of this partnership. You'll be working very hard on creating value out of your talents. You'll be working very hard in giving birth to something that you're initiating right now. It could be a joint partnership that you're initiating right now, which you'll be working very hard on bringing to fruition, to profitability, to generating value out of. And that will be the theme in coming months for you. So good luck for that, Virgo. Moving on to Libra. Libra, you are a cardinal sign. This is a key new moon and transit for you. This is a very critical month for you. You have the Aries new moon, which is happening in your house of partnership. So something new is starting. Either it's a new personal partnership, a new phase in your marriage, a new phase in your personal partnership, a new phase in your committed business partnership that is starting right now, or a new client contract that is coming through, especially if you have planets around 15 degree of Libra, or if you're born around 8th of October. You will see the benefit of that come through commercially right now. So a new contract starts yielding results. With Jupiter in the third house, you start seeing the commercial success. But going forward, that commercial success would be something that you'll have to work further on. You would make a communication about it. You'll probably communicate to your immediate environment about it. You'll be talking a lot about it. But at the same time, there's a pause that might be experienced at the end of the month as you try to go deeper into. The thing that you'll have to look out for is that Pluto and South Node are sitting in your house of real estate. So if there's an investment you've made in real estate, or if you have a home that you live in, you have to be a little bit careful about the foundations of that house. You have to be careful about doing some work in the house, making sure that the structure of the house is strong. There might be some repairs that might come up in your home essentially at this point in time, and that might come up. But as a whole, having Saturn, Pluto and South Node in your fourth house gives you a detachment from these issues. It gives you a detachment from any drainage source. It gives you a detachment from any fear that is holding you back from becoming visible in your career. And you go ahead and get your prime spot right now. You have two full moons. One full moon happened in March, and then you have another full moon which is happening at the end of April. So there is a lot of highlight on you in your workplace. There's a lot of light on you from business partners, and that you sort of take the dare. You leave the fear of being in spotlight right now. There's a cutting off from the restrictions that are holding your kite down at this point in time, so you can fly higher, so you can soar higher from a business perspective. So Pluto and South Node will cut off any fears that exist, and there might be something new that is coming up in terms of your business partnership or committed partnership with the April 5th new moon that's happening. This could also be in the life of your partner. Something new might be starting in the life of your partner, of your business partner, of your marriage partner. Something new might be initiating, and this is a brand new phase for them which is initiating for them. So that's for you, Libra. Take care of your health. Saturn, Pluto, South Node, they are all sitting together around 20 to 25 degree. So if you're born around I would say 13th of October, 13th to about 18th of October, you have to be a little bit careful. If your planets between 20 to 25 degree of Libra, you have to be a little bit careful of feeling diffused from an energy perspective and health and immunity perspective. So being a little bit careful on the health, keep the workout on. If you feel that you feel diffused in energy, bump up your Mars in the Aries season, wear red, keep red sandalwood or work out, and that will bump up your vitality at this point in time, and it will give you the energy that's required. So that's for you, Libra. Good luck for the coming month. Moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, the new moon for us. I'm a Scorpio rising too, and it's happening in 6th house. So something new, a new project is starting in the workplace, or a new set of duties and responsibilities are being given to you in your workplace, and a new work routine and a new health routine starts for us. We are taking the initiative to take care of business, taking care of day-to-day responsibilities, and we are taking ownership of our health at this point in time, which is important. We are taking ownership of our day-to-day routine to make it more efficient for us, to make it work better for us right now. And what are we giving up? What are we releasing? We are releasing our own blockage and mindset. The block in our communication, the blockage in our thought process and our communication is being given up. So if you've been writing something, you've been engaged in a communication exercise, and there has been something that has been holding you back, there's a blockage you've been feeling, whether it is a emotional blockage or it's an actual writing block that you're feeling, and you're not able to proceed forward and launch something and communicate something which is important and which is of power right now, because Pluto in our house of communication gives our words and our written words power. And if we are not able to do that effectively because of a fear or because of a blockage or because of not being able to bring our true power out in the words, that is released, and we are able to communicate much more effectively with our environment. We are able to launch something much more effectively to our immediate environment, and we are able to relate with our co-workers in a very effective way. But to start with, you will feel the pressure. You will feel the pressure here. You'll feel, and at the end of the month, there might be somebody in the authority figure or somebody in your co-worker or somebody who you connect with on a day-to-day basis. They will highlight issues in your communication. They will highlight issues in your plans. They will highlight some amount of issues in the initiatives that you're taking. But take it in the stride, as I mentioned in the introductory video. Take this as from a sense of detachment. Diffuse your ego in the process and take this as a part of the learning process, because you're creating the foundations of something that will serve you in longer run. And in order to do that, if somebody is pointing out some of the inputs that you must take in place, and it helps you in evolving your product to a much better state and generate more value out of it, just take it at this point in time. What will support you is your own confidence. Jupiter is sitting in your house of self-confidence, in your house of self-worth. We know we deserve it. We know we are worth it. So we take the step required to make this new start in our career, make this new start in our work routine, take care of our health and move forward. And if some criticism comes from co-workers, if some criticism comes from an authority figure, from somebody who we are writing to, then we take that, we take into stride, we take that in and incorporate that into the foundation of what we are doing. It could be a commercial launch in which you're told that there are some gaps in it and you need to fix that. We fix that and we move forward with it. There's a commercial activity to which a value is being added. Just keep that in mind. You're meant to commercially grow this year. Now, in order to commercially grow, there will be inputs in your commercial, in the way you present yourself to the audience, in the way you communicate your business messages that might come as Pluto, South Node and Saturn come together. There'll be pressure that will be felt by your co-workers, by the people who you work with and the environment that you communicate to. And they will point out some issues that we need to fix in the foundation of the way we communicate, the way we launch, the way we introduce anything, and the communication element is where the fixing will be required. But what you get the impetus to launch on 5th of April is related to your work. You launch something new. So on 6th or 7th of April, do something new, launch something new. Change your work environment a little bit. Start a new project, start a new health routine. It will be successful. Start on 6th or 7th of this month. It has the brand of this powerful combination coming together, and a fear and a deep down courage written all over it, because Pluto in the 3rd house gives us the courage to do the things that we have never done before. And you do that, but at the same time, be ready. When we launch something to a wider audience, what comes back is feedback. So you'll hear some feedback at the end of the month, and then we take that into consideration and we make more value out of what we do as a result of that. So that's for Scorpio. Have a great month ahead. Moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this has a positive aspect to you. This new moon is happening in your fellow fire sign, which is beautiful. It's happening in a beautiful house for you. It's happening in the 5th house of giving birth to something. You're giving birth to something that has your creativity written over it, which has your impetus written over it. It's a fire birth. It's giving birth to a creative venture. It's giving birth to a new thing that is very core to you. It's based on your creativity. So something new comes into existence, which is based on you taking a risk on yourself. This could be a new business starting. It could be a new phase of taking risk in your business, a high level of risk being taken in your business. It could be some new phase in your personal life, a new romance starting. It could be a new child coming. So you're giving birth to something. It could be a giving birth to a child, giving birth to a business, giving birth to a new romance. But all of them bring one thing to you, and that is passion. That is passion, that is love, and that is satisfaction and joy. So this is a beautiful new moon. You're infusing new joy into your life, and it is in positive aspect with you, especially if you have planets around 15 degrees of Sagittarius, which means if you're born around 7th of December, this is a beautiful new moon for people born around 7th of December, especially. They have a long-term positive karma flowing towards them, and it's a very, very lucky new moon for you. It's actually, the 5th house is called the house of luck. So there's an infusion of new luck which is happening, which is across the sign, but especially if you have planets around 15 degree of Sagittarius, or if you're born around 7th of December, this is a beautiful start for you. And of course, Jupiter is in your sign. This is the year to expand. This is the year to take risk on yourself. This is the year to create something that is more core to you. This is the year to expand the very frame with which you look at your life. So as you do that and you take more risk on your creativity, something comes through, something gets started, and you should start something on 6th or 7th, whether it is signing a new contract, starting a new business, putting the foundations of starting a new business, taking the next leap in your business, giving birth to someone, or putting the seeds for giving birth to somebody, or starting a new romance, or creating a hobby that becomes, as I said, I mean, hobby could become a big business going forward. So starting something that gives you joy, that gives you satisfaction and happiness, is what begins on 5th or 6th of this month. What you have to give up to move forward is your own faith in yourself, because you have Saturn, Pluto, and South Node sitting in your house of self-worth and net worth. So there is some old framework of earning money. There's an old ideology of how you should be earning money, of how the money is supposed to come, from which source it is supposed to come, and how regularly it is supposed to come. That has to be given up. The idea to which the things that you attach value to have to be released. You have to think about it in a different way, and you are empowered in a different way. The things that we give value to, it becomes more passion. It doesn't mean that money doesn't come, but it means that we need to be detached from how the money comes. It means that we need to be detached from the sources of income, because you're creating something that is beyond income right now, which is beyond the material value. You're creating something that you will be proud of going forward, that you'll call as your own. You're giving rise to your legacy. And when we do that, we have to release an attachment to an old way of earning money. And you might have already done that, but this is like the cord cutting. This is the cord cutting from that, no going back from here. And in doing that, you are empowered. You get a sense of purpose, that this is where I'm going. This is how I'll derive value in my life going forward. And that is going to be very unique and different from how I've done before. You will face if you're closing on a contract, you're starting a new business, you might get some reckoning at the end of the month. How am I going to generate value out of it? This is my creative idea. This is where I want to take the leap of faith. This is my new business contract. This is what I want to give birth to. At the end of the month, Saturn and South Node coming together, Saturn will emphasize, how will you make money? It will ask you, how will you make money? What is your structured approach to make money out of this? And you'll have to create a plan in the coming next months on how to generate more value out of your creative talents, and you'll be working on that. So there is a change in how you make money. You take a risk on yourself, but this change in how you make money, you have to plan for it. And the plan will be Saturn's discipline, which will start coming towards the end of the month, which will ask you to sort of institute a plan about it. So if there's a contract that you've signed, you might have to relook at the financial aspect of it. How are you taken care of? Creativity and rush are great in Aries season, but towards the end of the month, when the Taurus season begins, and we have South Node and Saturn coming together, you question, how am I making money? And that will come for questioning at this point in time. So this is for you, Sagittarius. Good luck. It's a beautiful, beautiful new moon to have around 5th or 6th of the month. Take a next step take a risk on your talents around 6th or 7th of this month. Moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, this is your, what should I say, couple of years? Because with Saturn, Pluto and South Node in your sign, everything is happening in your sign. You will feel the pressure. That is just how it is right now. Because diamonds are being created out of pressure right now. And you are being created into a completely new destiny. You are being given birth to in a different way right now. You are in the birth canal right now. And you will be feeling the pressure with Saturn, Pluto and South Node together. This is just how it is, because there are some hindrances, some old structures, some barriers of our own growth that we need to get rid of. You will perform under pressure right now with Saturn, Pluto, South Node, especially if you have planets between 20 to 25 degree. You will feel very empowered. You'll feel very empowered, and but it will happen by you releasing the fears, you releasing your own limitations. You will not look at the limits right now, because you will move forward. And the Aries new moon is happening in your house of home and family. So there is something new that comes up, which you take the initiative on, which helps you go forward in your security area. You might buy a property, you might invest into real estate, you might look to embellish your house. You want to create more security for yourself, because your career is being emphasized right now. Your forward movement is being emphasized right now, but you want to create some security for yourself, some place for you to come and relax and be happy about. A place of security, place of living is what comes into focus, and you might relocate as a result of that as well, or it might be just change of property or just embellishing property. But your private life will take a lot of focus right now. It takes the focus because you take an initiative in it. You want to be more emotionally secure. You want to get a peace of mind. You want to connect at a much deeper level with your family. You want to feel comfortable in your own security right now, as there will be a lot of pressure in you going out in the world and you facing a lot of, I wouldn't say opposition, but pressure. And in order to take that, you institute your own security system to deal with it. And Aries new moon around 5th or 6th April gives you the opportunity to create something new. So take a new step, embellish something in the house, create something new in the house, buy something for your house or for your family. You have right now, when Pluto and Saturn are together, you have a position in which your physical energy might be a little bit dissipated. You might feel a little bit physically let down at this point in time, especially if you have planets between 20 to 24 degree of Capricorn, or if you're born around, I would say, around 10th of January, 10th or 15th of January, you'll feel the pressure very high of Saturn, Pluto and South Node together. So give yourself some respite. Take some time at home, work from home if you can for a few days around this time, from 4th, 5th of April, or take time to create a new routine for yourself at home, which gives you the time to detox from the external environment. Create an environment of security, a new area in the house for yourself. Especially if you're born around 5th of January, or if you have planets around 15 degree of Capricorn, this could be a great time to invest in real estate, or embellish your house, or make some repairs in the house, or create something new in the house, or buy something new, a new furniture or a fixed asset for yourself at this point in time. You might be investing in some sort of asset which is related to real estate at this point in time. And you get the faith. You feel the faith, you get the infusion of the faith that I can move forward. The circumstances of last month, the pressure of March on you with Pluto and South Node together has created a powerful situation for you. You will feel by the end of the month that in your skin, you know that you can deliver on what you have started. But for that, you have to take care of yourself, and that is what the Aries moon says. Take a step in your personal security, create a security for yourself, so you can go back to it when you come back from being worn down by all that's happening in the external environment, where you're being asked to let go, shed the old skin, and become this powerful new person you're becoming in your career. So that's for you, Capricorn. Good luck for that and take care of yourself. So let's move into Aquarius. Aquarius, this is happening in your third house of commercial activity. You start a new communication, you start a new branding exercise, you start talking to people about your ideas, you start negotiation of contract, you start certain writing projects, certain speaking project, certain commercial new contract with somebody. You're looking to do something which involves a lot of talking, a lot of writing, a lot of communicating with the immediate environment, and Jupiter supports you socially right now. As you network with people, you get acceptance of your ideas. The acceptance at a larger scale comes through. So taking a step in form of communicating something, creating an email, creating a website, creating a new pitch, creating a new sales pitch, creating a new project pitch at this point in time, marketing your idea, or going for a speaking exercise, they are all in positive aspect with you right now, and you should engage in that around 6th or 7th of April. Especially start something new, it will have a lot of positivity written to it, and you might have started something in your season already earlier in the year when your new moon was there. Now is the time to sort of add the bells in the whistle and tell people about it, publicize it, brand it, create a website for it, and acquire more communication skill and publication skills about it, so you can communicate it to your immediate environment. Hey, I'm doing this and this is new, this is unique in nature, and I like to market that, those kind of things. And what is let go? Pluto South Node and Saturn are sitting together in your 12th house. Anything subconscious that was holding you back from talking about it, that is let go. You're releasing the fear. You're releasing the subconscious fear. You're releasing any unconscious beliefs that stop you from going out to your immediate environment. That is being released. And you'll feel this pressure getting pricked and open and released at this point in time, so you can just go forward. But what happens is that after you initiate something in the coming months with Jupiter going retrograde, you will find that the support from external is not what will sustain you. What will sustain you is not going to be in the next couple of months, is not acceptance from larger audience. This is something that you have to understand, that you start something right now that is unique to you, but after this month you have to understand that you might need to rework some of these things. You might have to rework some of the things behind the scene, but not rely on wider acceptance of that at this point in time. So after this month, at the end of the month, if you see that some issues are being highlighted at this point, and these are not showstoppers, this is just to beef up the foundation of what you're creating. It is just the beefing up. There's feedback that comes right after we have published something, we have communicated something, there's feedback that comes in. So you'll take that feedback in, but the support in the coming months will be all coming from within you for the next couple of months. So from now all the way to June especially, be ready that Jupiter essentially is turning, right? Jupiter is going retrograde on 10th of this month. You'll feel it towards the end of this month that the external support of people or of a mentor or of a business person or a support of a person is not what you rely on. You have to rely on your own initiative, that this is what I want to do. So that's for you, Aquarius. It's in positive energy with you. So communicate something, launch something. It's a beautiful time to do that. Success has the underlying support of this new start. Coming to my beautiful sign, saving the best for the last, Pisces. This new moon is happening in your house of finances. Something commercial comes through. You start a new source of income. You start a new source. You buy a new source. You buy a new asset at this point in time that gives you joy. This is something that you wanted to do that is just unique to you. That is something that feeds your soul, and you want to do it because it suits you. This is about starting something new, acquiring a new resource, or investing in something new, or starting. This has to do with financial resources or with material resources. So starting a new diet is also part of it, because the diet feeds us. So starting a new diet could be a part of it, or starting a new source of income, initiating a new source of income coming through, or taking the initiative for increasing the value of your existing talents by charging more for what you do, or increasing the the kind of assets that you have, acquiring a new asset that you always wanted to have, that's part of something. So you acquire something valuable or bring something valuable into your resources during this month, which is excellent. It is a very, very positive new moon. So bringing something, buying something of value could be of benefit to you. And you get the support of your authority figures. You get the support in your career at this point in time. With Jupiter in your career house, you get the support of the authority figures. But what happens is that after this month and towards after 14th of the month, you will realize that this new source of income or this new start that you're having or the new initiative that you've taken in your career, it requires some more work for it to become as valuable as you like it to be. So there'll be more work required in the coming month to make it as valuable. But you take an initiative to charge more or to get more value out of your talents, but you know that there's more work required in that. You're releasing the fear of scarcity. You're releasing the thought process of scarcity. You're releasing the thought process that this is the limit to your dreams. This is the limit to your vision. There's unlimited vision and unlimited dreams that you can have this year, Pisces. With the kind of aspects you have, it is the most beautiful year. I believe the next 1.5 years are very, very valuable to you. And with Saturn, Pluto and South Node together in your house of vision, they're asking you to unleash the real power of your vision. Remove the hindrance that you have in reaching out to a wider set of audience. If there was a fear that was holding you back from publication of your work to a larger set of audience, to publicize your business to a larger set of audience, to become a person of influence in the social network that you are in, to become a person of influence in the business network that you're part of, that hindrance is taken off. You're releasing a fear of launching yourself to a larger set of audience. And before you do that, there's a fresh infusion of resources, fresh infusion of self-worth and net worth that happens with the new moon that is happening on 5th or 6th of this month. So towards the end of the month, there might be somebody who in your social network, in your if you have a website, maybe a person in your online network who might highlight and give you some feedback, might highlight some issues because of which you're not able to grow as much as you like to. Take those inputs if they come. If there's a client set or a network partner who's of not so much in line with your vision, with your future vision, and that has to be let go, that is just a part of the cycle. And it might happen that towards the end of the month that there might be somebody who is not meant to be part of your friends network or business network or a supplier of sorts who's not part of your future vision, and they have to be let go. So let go something that is going away in your network. Release the fear that you can only be this or that. You can be very, very widely accepted if you release the fear. If you release the fear that, if you release the fact that how is my product taken on the other side? You release that thought process when you're doing your work. You can do things more authentically. You can do things more authentically. Ask for the value that you truly deserve. So with the Pluto and South Node conjunction that is happening at the start of the month, you release a fear of acceptance by a wider audience. You move with full power to it. You ask for more value for it. And by the end of the month, there might be some feedback that might come to you. You can decide whether to incorporate that into the foundation of your business or not. And you move forward with that. Jupiter will continue to support your career throughout this year. There's a public image that is being enhanced to you. But what happens over the course of next 3 or 4 months with Jupiter retrograde is that you start working to go to the next level of growth in your public image. You start going to the next level of growth in your public image, how you're known as, what are you known as, who are you known as, and you start doing things that add more value to your public image. And that starts with you realizing your self-worth and infuse more self-worth with the Aries new moon that is happening around 5th of this month. So that is for you, Pisces, especially if you have planets around 15 degree or 24 degrees where Jupiter is turning. So you'll feel that Jupiter will be retracing around from 24 degree to about 13 degree of this month. So you'll feel that Jupiter is revisiting you revisiting an opportunity that it has brought to you in your career over the next couple of months. But that starts with you realizing that you can demand more value out of your talents. You can actually ask for more than what you've gotten so far. So that's for you, Pisces. Hope it helps you all. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I'll see you in your monthly videos now. Thank you.